my next guest is back here, the Emmy Award nominated and co-creator of Netflix's Unstable that he is starring in with his son, John Owen. The great Rob Lowe is here. Good to see you, Rob.
Hey,
how are you,
thanks,
sir?
everybody. Good to see you.
Great to have you back. Season 2 of Unstable, available for streaming on August 1st, only on Netflix. Man, I remember meeting your son. He was a little tight.
He was probably this tall.
Right. Now here you are in a terrific show with him right now.
I do wish, though, if he was going to go into show business, he'd have told me before I paid for the tuition to go to Stanford. Because you could go right from Jamba Juice to show business. What are you going to do?
What does the Stanford degree do for you right now?
Nothing. Zilcho.
There's no resumes, right?
I thought he was going to be, in a lab with a beaker curing cancer. Instead, he's writing jokes for me.
There's still time.
There's still time.
I mean, he can multitask.
He can. He can. He's super funny. And this second season, I mean, season 1 is currently on Netflix, so you can get caught up right now. Season 2 is August 1st, but he in the writing staff were able to raise the show and just so much just hard comedy, and there aren't that many hard comedies out there.
That are not at all.
No, there's no like 30 Rock, The Office. They're all have way more edge. And this is kind of a throwback in that way.
And it's just a lot of fun. Again, you're by the way, our radio audience just returned. Rob Lowe is here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're talking about Unstable. Season 1 is currently available for you to binge watch on Netflix. Season 2 is going to be out on August 1st. You play a biotech bro, pretty much, which is kind of timely for this day and age right now.
Yeah. I mean, the show was based on my relationship with John Owen on his Instagram, where he just murders me all the time. And it got to the point where every time I would do a talk show or do an interview, all they wanted to talk about was that. And so he and I thought, is there a show that could take advantage of that type of comedy? But then it's like, we don't want to play ourselves.
Right.
But we need to play the elements of ourselves that enable the comedy. So larger than life dad, son trying to carve his own way. Mm-hmm. And so we thought biotech is a perfect way because it's almost as silly and over the top as being an actor at this point.
For sure. Again, John Owen is your son, and he plays your son in this show, and everyone should check this thing out. Available again on Netflix, season 2 on August 1st. How many baseball games have you been to this year?
A lot. I got to opening day. I wanted to see Ohtani's first, his debut, saw his first hit as a Dodger, was there for that. And I'm just in Ohtani land. I am just flummoxed and gobsmacked because I've seen a lot of baseball in my life.
Right.
And I've never seen anything like, I mean, all the Dodgers spring training were saying, he's special, he's special, he's special, you're not going to believe it. And I was like, yeah. So I'm sure he's really good. I'm sure he is. It's other level.
I took my son before he went off to camp, my youngest son, before he went off to camp, the night, I believe that this happened, as a matter of fact, on the night of the City Connect jerseys against the Angels. And he connected, and, it was one of those no doubt abouters that you knew by hearing the crack of the bat.
There's something about the ball off of his bat.
Correct.
And everyone talks about it. Dave Roberts, all the announcers, people who've heard balls go off bats for years and years and years.
Right.
And I asked Skipper what it is, why that is, and he says it's the torque. He said it was like Tiger when Tiger was young. He was able to put that body in a position with that no one else does, because it does sound different.
We were talking the other day when Willie Mays passed away, and he was the unanimous choice of greatest living ball player on the day that he passed. And we're talking about who is that now?
Greatest living.
Great of any generation, any baseball player that's alive right now. And we threw out some names from Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, still, despite, whatever asterisk you may put. Well, the guy was amazing before the asterisk hit.
If we're doing asterisks, Rose has got to be on there.
That's who I mentioned as well.
He's got to be on.
Well, you're an Ohio kid, right? Okay, so I'm with you on that. And then we eventually landed on Ohtani. Like, he may just be That guy.
What if he comes back? At this point, if you're the Dodgers, I wonder if they're like, you don't have to pitch. You don't have to pitch.
That's what he's saying all the time.
He should never pitch again.
I don't know. If I'm the Dodgers, I don't know if I want him pitching.
Again. Why?
Why? So he can hurt himself?
Yeah, exactly. Why? What's the point?
I don't know. Because
he's also hitting 40 points higher.
It was because he was a pitcher and a...
That's true. That's why it's a $700 million contract.
Meanwhile, he's worth every penny just doing this.
It's 280 when he was doing both. He's hitting 320 now.
I'm with you, man. I keep him in leadoff when Mookie comes back, and I'm if he wants to pitch here and there for a laugh.
At this point in time, they could actually use him pitching right now. I
They
mean,
could
in all
now.
seriousness, I will push back and say no. I don't know if I could provide the innings required by the Dodgers right now, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd want to just see. Wouldn't you want to go to a game where he's doing the both?
For sure.
I mean, that's it.
I think. Look, I think you have to do it just because of the. It's like the greatest bobblehead night of all time. You get to see that, but I don't know, man.
Did you ever do a Dodgers celebrity game? You must have.
I did. I did two. I did one when it was actually baseball.
What do you mean?
They actually before it was softball.
Before it was softball.
It was baseball.
Oh, okay.
And it was one of those things that Billy Crystal was like the man, and he took it uber seriously. He was like Robert Conrad in Battle of the Network Stars, for an old reference. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
he was not messing around.
Yeah.
And then inevitably the game would devolve. Like the serious people got their time, and then it would end up with, and I remember coming up to bat and they butchered my now batting Rob Lowe. Like they just completely, I was 15. Rob Lowe. And I got on, I think I had a single and got on first base, and then they made a pitching change and brought in Kareem.
Abdul-Jabbar?
Yes, to pitch to Billy Barty.
Kareem?
How do you spell that?
Kareem pitching to Billy Barty. Billy Barty obviously was about 2.5 feet tall. That's what the game became. And I was like, oh, God, I wanted to be when the game meant something.
It's a good bit.
So Kareem, would be like Randy Johnson, right? Just dealing from way up here and just
to a little person.
Oh my!
He was 3'9", Billy.
3'9".
Rest in peace.
Oh my!
Facing
God.
7'4".
Yeah. So then you did it, and when it was softball,
and then I did
when
it
it was like Tony Danza's party or something like that.
Whose party would it have been? Oh, you know who it might have been?
Who?
Might have been Charles Sheen.
Is that right?
Might have been Charles Sheen before the downfall. By the way, my man Charlie could play baseball.
Right.
For real. Major League.
Right.
No, he and my brother would look down their noses at Emilio and I being actors because they were going to be baseball players.
No kidding.
And so they would go to like some camp in Missouri. God, I can't believe I can't. And, they'd have their shoe. And like they were, Charlie could throw in the high 80s.
Yeah, we had Dennis Haysbert on the show a couple of years ago talking about Major League and how he and Charlie were the ones who could actually play.
For sure.
On that cast.
Yeah.
For real.
So that was my last Dodger celebrity game. It's hard to get. It's not a lot of celebrities play baseball. You can get them to do celebrity basketball.
Yeah.
But it's super hard to put the team on the field that you want.
Because
they just don't play.
They just don't play the game, huh?
No.
My gosh. So you sing. Who did you single off of? Who was pitching?
God.
You don't remember who was pitching?
Unfortunately, it was probably like Ann Jillian.
I'm loving every reference. I'm catching
you're
every
getting
reference
everyone,
you're
right?
Every
That's right. You and I are dangerous at a party. I'm Googling we will go off into a corner and go into the most obscure
down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. I got you with Robert Conrad, man, when he was in Battle of Network Stars.
Oh.
Did you ever do one of those?
No, but I used to go because I grew up in Malibu and they were at Pepperdine.
Yeah.
And I would go and like it was, I was a kid from Ohio arriving wanting to be an actor, and they were doing Battle of the Network Stars basically in my neighborhood. And man, I thought it was like going to the Oscars. I thought it was the height. I thought it was the Super Bowl met the Oscars.
So if I'm watching like Telly Savalas do the tire race and I freeze it, it's possible I see Rob Lowe in the crowd.
Gabe Kaplan, Telly Savalas, And then, of course, the dunk tank. My favorite was that, like,
Oh, yeah.
they had an excuse to get the girls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
It was shameless.
Yeah. You know, you never did see, like, Larry Hagman in the dunk tank. You know what I mean?
No.
You know, it's always Victoria Principal in the dunk
Yes.
tank.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
man.
I remember you didn't want to sleep on Christy McNichol in the obstacle course.
Hold on, I gotta look up all these names.
Dude, this is outstanding. Every word.
Your audience is turning off, by the way, in
Definitely
droves.
not in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, I hope so.
Is that happening? I'm sure of it. Fantastic.
Agent
Rob Lowe here.
Barbeau running the 40. That would be
Agent Barbeau running the 40. You're not wrong, sir. That is
Bunga to bunga to bunga. You know what I mean? And I know you do.
Rob Lowe here on the Rich Eisen Show.
Rob Lowe, I do.
Did you see the Brat Pack doc?
did.
What'd you think
I'm
of
in
it?
it.
I know you're in it. So, but have you seen it? Is what I'm.
I did. I watched it. I thought
What'd you
Andrew,
think of it?
I thought Andrew did a great job. He's always been like super thoughtful, and just for me to see some of the folks I haven't seen Allie in forever, and Tim Hutton. I mean, it was fun for me to see everybody.
Did you learn anything from it?
I was really surprised at how being in the Brat Pack was such a source of angst for so long for some of the folks in it. I mean, nobody liked it when it came out. I mean, you know, who wants to be called a brat?
Right.
Who wants to be in a pack? And it was sort of reductive, you know what I mean? And had a little whiff of pejorative. And I think it probably did prevent some of us from being taken as seriously as we would have liked at that time. Mm-hmm. But, you know, very quickly after that, I realized to the people that matter, and that's real people,
Right.
the Brat Pack was cool. Really cool.
I mean, I remember thinking it was cool at the time.
See, and that's,
1,000,000%.
yeah. And
I
so,
didn't sit there and think they're bratty.
No.
I just thought it was kind of a way to have a cutesy turn of the phrase of the Rat Pack, obviously.
yeah, I've loved it for years, but this was Andrew's journey to coming to acceptance to it now. And I thought Demi also shared my similar perspective that people thought it was cool and we were lucky to be in it. And that's what I've felt for years, is like the notion that you could be a part of something that people remember for 30 years is great.
Well, I think there was a couple of different Brat Pack paths in a way, right? There was the John Hughes path.
Which I never, by the way, John
which you were
Hughes,
never-
he was never buying what I was selling.
Why was that?
I don't know. I have my theories.
Were you never up for a John Hughes movie?
Yeah, I
or
read
anything?
for the Judd part in Breakfast Club,
Really?
which is a great part, and Judd is spectacular. Breakfast Club is by far the best Brat Pack movie. Nothing is close.
You would think so.
I do. St. Elmo's Fire is but it's also very kitschy and 80s and like dated in a beautiful, fun way.
Right.
Breakfast Club is timeless. That's a great piece of
Showed
filmmaking.
that to my kids the other day. Susie and I showed it to the kids because, you know, they're 15, 13, and 10.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to show them as they're entering. My oldest entered high school this year, and my youngest son is heading in that direction, to talk about, just in case there's any anxieties that you're experiencing with your friends or
that's
whatever,
great.
that this is kind of a time-honored tradition
Yeah.
for people your age. They could not believe that it was a movie that took place in one day. They were just like, at one point, half hour in, just had a couple questions, like, when is it the next day? Like, they couldn't believe that it was just about a coming of age story that you could have over the span of a few hours.
Like, when do the superheroes show up?
I mean, that is maybe kind of this
When does the
generation
Wolverine come in?
to just mess things up. You know, where's Deadpool? But no, it was wild for current teenagers that you're maybe used to flicking their wrist to see 90 seconds of content.
Yeah,
I thought it stood up. I really thought it's still, my wife and I think it stands up.
well, in going back to the Brat Pack doc,
Right.
the clips they show of all of the movies, I was blown away today looking back at the quality of the acting of all those young actors. Every single one of all those movies were delivering. I mean, like real. I was so, because, you know, when you're living through it, you think, I know I'm no Jack Nicholson. I'm no Warren Beatty. But looking back on it, James Spader and Downey and just everybody in it they were really doing great work.
Right. And so you were kind of in the lane of the Brat Pack doing some more dramatic movies, pretty much. Obviously, The Outsiders being one. About Last Night, would you consider that a Brat Pack movie? Or just because you and
Brat
Demir
Pack adjacent.
Right?
It really isn't, because it was like St. Elmo's Fire was like the last Brat Pack movie. And I think, because Elizabeth Perkins and Belushi, it was we had graduated. We were adults now.
But because David Mamet was
David Mamet wrote it.
Right. Yeah, he's not Brat Packy.
David Mamet's a lot of the Ian Brat Pack. But that's my favorite one of all of them is About Last Night.
Why is that?
Writing is better. It's more timeless. It's like anybody who's thinking about moving in with their partner for the first time.
Right.
It still stands up, and it's hilarious.
Rob Lowe here on the Rich Eisen Show. Again, Unstable Season 2 is available for streaming on August 1st on Netflix. You can see that right here on Roku. Okay, let's jump into some of the comedy here. We played Celebrity True or False with you last time you were here, but I've got one for you. Is it true that David Spade and Chris Farley fought over you on the set of Tommy Boy?
Oh, yeah.
That's a true story.
I just saw Spade this weekend. We were at a party, and we were talking about how much they would fight over me.
Over you? Why is that?
Well, the big fight was because I came into the hotel after shooting. Spade was not shooting that day, but Farley was. And Farley and I hit the jacuzzi, did a sauna and a jacuzzi. And the next day, apparently, Farley was like, guess who I was in the jacuzzi with? So he was like, who? I was like, me and Rob. He's like, you didn't call me. I didn't. And I walk in and they're fighting over it.
Literally,
like I was the girl. Like
fisticuffs? Like literally?
Wrestling, yeah. They also fought. I saw Spade and Farley physically fight over me and over a turkey sandwich.
Why is a turkey sandwich? What happened there?
Because Spade is really hypoglycemic.
Okay.
Like crazy, like, and like uses it to his benefit. I think it's kind of BS,
right.
but he likes to pretend like my blood sugar, I'm having the vapors. And so he always has his turkey sandwich near him, and Farley accidentally stepped on it. And Spade went after Farley. And then of course Farley ended it.
Yeah. I would think that, that if it ever really came to, height, weight, speed.
Apparently they're doing a Farley movie.
Yeah.
And so when I saw Spade this weekend, I said, who's playing you? And he said, I want to know, because I want to know who's playing the turkey sandwich.
I like that. So, but Farley was possessive of you, is what you're saying?
I was the pretty girl that
to the two of them. Wow,
they're very possessive.
So that is true.
It's absolutely true.
And Farley was bragging that he was in a jacuzzi.
I was in a
with
jacuzzi. So insane. True.
What was it like being on the set with him? Otherwise,
oh my God, none of us realized the impact that Tommy Boy would have. I mean, that movie. I cannot tell you of how much that I get, the feedback I get of Tommy Boy, and how happy I am that I was in it because of what it means to people.
Right.
And my memories of it were we didn't know what was going on. We had a really, really good time. I remember Farley had a shot of espresso before every take. Not every scene, every take. I also remember taking him out to dinner to one of our favorite steakhouses, and he ordered 2 bone-in porterhouses, 2. And on top of each bite, he put an entire cube of butter. Each bite. And it was so gross that I finally was like, he saw me looking like a gog at him, and he finally, I'll never forget, he holds it up, gigantic bite of steak. On top of it, square of butter. He goes, it needs a hat.
It needs a hat.
It's true.
I guess it's nothing inaccurate. It did need a hat.
It needed a butter hat.
Oh my God.
Hat of butter.
Holy cow.
I mean,
That's not healthy.
not good.
on the set of Austin Powers, was that just as insane as it looks when you're watching it? Or
That's
what?
one where every once in a while, if you're lucky, you realize it's the polar opposite of Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy, fun,
Right.
great,
Yes.
great time.
Right.
No idea that you're making anything of significance. Zero. Austin Powers.
Yes.
I'm in Dr. Evil's lair. Mike is playing fat bastard, and he
It's funny.
ad-libs, that looks like a baby. And then does, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby. Chili's baby. That's when you go, oh, I am in the presence of like comedy directly channeled from God on high.
And you can't blow it, right? You've got to keep it together,
No,
or you couldn't.
I'm really good. I don't.
You don't break?
I don't break. I don't break because I got broken badly by Dana Carvey on Wayne's World. There's a scene where I come down in the basement and Dana he's made a hand that moves and he pounds the hand with a hammer. It makes no sense. It's in the movie for no reason. It doesn't advance the plot. And I asked Dana, I said, what was that hand? He goes, well, he's always put it in my mind that the hand was going to strangle you. That's my Garth, by the way. Pretty good.
Very good.
But I broke so badly then that I swore that I would never do it.
Really? So you made a pact with yourself
I don't
that
break.
day on the set?
Which is sad because I'm never in blooper reels.
Right.
So if you look at like Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
all the blooper reels, I'm never in them.
Because you don't break.
I don't break.
How do you do it? Do you just...
Well, because the other thing is if you break, you can't use it.
Right.
And I always want to make sure that if something's super funny and I'm on camera, I'm not the one ruining that take.
Right. You don't want to be that guy.
don't
You're a
be that guy.
professional, Rob Lowe.
Pro.
You're a friggin' lead pipe wielding professional. That's who you are.
Like,
That's you, man. That's you. Oh, my gosh. All right. You got a good cruise story before I let you go?
Tommy?
Yeah.
Well, Tommy Cruise?
When did you first meet him?
I was 17, and I think Tom's a year older than me. So he would have been just 18.
Yeah.
And he was living at Emilio's house auditioning right after Taps. By the way, Taps, great movie.
Very much so.
Right?
Yeah.
Tim Hutton, Sean Penn, Tom
that
Cruise.
Early 80s or late 70s? Like
It was
early
1980.
1980. Okay. So right there.
And we would work out and jog like running bros. But my favorite Tom, and I got a lot of them, and I love him so much. He's the best. He's so competitive that we used to box in the hallway of the hotel we were staying during Outsiders.
Mm-hmm.
So much testosterone. We're 18-year-old guys,
Right.
stuck on location. So we would wear headgear and we'd have mouthpieces in, but we would legitimately spar. And I just remember Tom was jacked. I'm like a pipe cleaner arm. I hadn't started working out yet.
Okay.
So I'm super I look like Karen Carpenter. I'm like, I am not jacked. And Tom is like this beast, but I hit him real clean. And I rang his bell, and the next thing I knew, I woke up, I was coming to on the floor. And he like completely knocked me out.
Because
I hit him
dazed
hard.
him.
Yeah, and his eyes just went black. But that's the stuff we did. That's what guys do. It's like Fight Club.
What do you think of when you see this photograph, man? Look at that picture of you guys.
I think of what was happening there. We were supposed to be looking tough and cool.
Yes.
Obviously, we're not. We shot an hour, tough, cool, tough, cool, tough, cool, tough, cool. And they brought in food just off camera. And there were a lot of local kids who would come into this little place where we were shooting and steal the food. And Leif Garrett was standing near them. and there was an announcement that the food was for the talent only.
Mm-hmm.
And Ralph Macchio said, "Yeah, Leif, the food's for the talent only." And we all laughed, and that's the photo.
And then they snapped this picture.
That's the photo after that happened. It's the only smiling photo we took. By the way, I did break the. Oh, yes. Do you know why I don't break?
Why?
Who's the only? Bring the photo up again.
You.
Who's the only idiot not looking at the camera?
Because you broke.
Because I broke.
Yeah, Swayze sort of.
No, but he's
You know.
he's got
really,
enough.
I'm really
Sort
not
of,
looking at the camera. Swayze's got 3/4. You see 2 eyes.
But I noticed, by the way, Tom and Emilio have the right idea: is stick the hand underneath the bicep.
Yeah,
and
don't they, though?
Pump it up.
You can't get
Look
away
at
with
that
that
move.
now.
That's
Now
great.
everybody knows that move, and you can't get away
But
with it.
back then, look at that. Look at
is
that.
it?
Look at Tom. He's got one arm.
There's
you know,
another-
He's
there's
got one hand
another-
underneath, and so does Emilio.
There's another sort of group shot of us that became the group shot. We're standing in an alley.
Uh-huh.
And you guys will be able to find this. And if you look at it really closely, Swayze's standing on a platform of bricks that he's built for himself.
No way.
So he can
Be taller.
get a little higher.
Yeah, it's right there. It's like it's the famous black and white photo of all of us standing in the alley. It's like the most. Other than that photo we just saw, and I always like whenever if I'm walking out and people go, "Hey, will you sign this?" and it's that photo, I always circle the bricks.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
He's
is that
way
it?
bigger than everybody else.
See, look at his feet. You can see him in the. You can see it in the shot.
He's standing on top of 2 bricks.
He's dead. Thank you.
Emilio, great Mickey Mouse shirt.
Okay. Well, that's another trick of the trade. Hey, I love when you stop by here. Thanks
So
for
fun.
coming in. I know you don't live in town, so directly. So I appreciate you making the time. And congrats. We got John Owen here in a couple
You got to give
of
my
weeks.
son a lot of.
What-
Do a gotcha interview with him, like
What-
old
like
school.
What? Like what do you mean?
Like you sit in, and then you just hammer him with tough questions.
Like what?
I don't know. We should think of something.
I mean, you're. Here's the thing: is like,
I know.
Okay.
Ask him about his dating life
Oh jeez.
right?
because
Which,
he
by the way,
won't-
I never ask
No,
guests
you have
about
to because he
ever.
won't tell me. How about this? Say your dad asked me.
Yes.
To ask you about your dating life and watch him melt.
You want this to happen?
But you want
I
the
did-
lowdown or something? Like he's not sharing enough
He
with
doesn't
you?
share anything with me about that. And the other thing is, we got to build him up. I mean, to be
Right.
a good guest, you have to learn trial by error.
Great stories.
Right? That's right.
Who's your first interview then like that? Was it Carson? Were you on Carson? Were you with him?
My
Who was
first
it?
big interview was Entertainment Tonight.
Okay.
I remember that.
Is that
vividly.
Elisa Gibbons?
Yeah, it was
sit
like
down?
Elisa. And then, I never did Carson, and it's a big regret of mine
I
because
bet.
when I was in that era, you didn't, it sounds insane, but you didn't do Carson because you wanted to be on with Joan Rivers because her ratings were higher.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you did it with Joan?
Yeah, I did it with Joan.
Okay.
Johnny, I would see walking on the beach, though.
Come
in
on.
Malibu.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because we lived on Point Doom.
Johnny Carson.
Johnny, legend.
What did he probably, the way I envision it, he would have probably one of those white sweaters tied around his neck.
With a visor, a tennis visor.
Visor guy.
A visor.
Tennis visor. And he drove a, either a Camaro. What's the other car that's like the Camaro? Corvette. He drove a Corvette.
He drove a Corvette.
Drove a Corvette.
And he had the white visor on his. I just see it probably was like his U.S. Open tennis gear walking on the beach. That's the way I envision this sort of thing.
This is my last Carson. I'll just leave you this.
Okay, sure.
This is how you knew the area of Malibu changed. There was this old, beautiful, like ranch house had been there forever, and we used to ditch our surfboards there. A nice old couple lived there, and one day they said to us, "Well, you can't leave your surfboards here anymore because we're selling our house." We're like, "Oh no, that sounds so." We're a little sad about it, but because we raised our kids here, but. We sold it to Mr. Carson, who lived across the street. 2 weeks later, he demolished that house and made a tennis court.
Wow.
Hi-oh!
Hi-oh, you're gone. He did. Of course
You are correct, sir.
You're correct.
Rob Lowe, you're just a pleasure, man. I love when you come here. Greatly appreciated. Everybody, check out season 2 of Unstable on the 1st of August, and then look out for John Owen Lowe to be on this show, I believe on the 29th of July, where I will make him squirm by asking him about his dating life.
First question. Right out of the gate.
Right off the bat.
Right off the
out of the
bat.
gate.
Don't even set it
Make
up,
him
right?
sweat.
That's what you're looking for.
It will be because he's very articulate, my boy.
Yes.
But he'll be
Okay. We'll snap that Dwight Gooden 12-6 curveball
crack
right
that
off.
thing off.
That's
Snap
40
it.
love.
The knee buckler right off the bat.
Yes.
Rob Lowe at Rob Lowe on both Instagram and all social media right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern for free.